Hello and welcome to Binge Watch, the podcast where we take a look at the hottest new TV and film releases on streaming television platforms. I'm Hannah Fernando, the group editor of Woman and Woman and Home magazine.
And I'm Ian McEwan, writer on TV Times, TV and Satellite Week and What's on TV magazines. And today we're looking at the new releases that will be available on Friday the 6th of December 2024, including the new Richard Curtis animation That's Christmas on Netflix, and politician Jacob Rees-Mogg and family in new reality show Meet the Rees-Moggs on Discovery Plus.
Should probably come with a warning. Anyway, we'll also be checking out Jack Whitehall's funny festive offering, Jack in Time for Christmas on Prime Video, and having a game of throws with top flight players from the world of darts, courtesy of Now TV. But first, Ian, what is in the news?
In Apple TV Plus's new 10-part take on the classic thriller Cape Fear, which is executive produced by Martin Scorsese and Steven Spielberg, Javier Bardem will play Max Cady, the ex-con who terrorises a lawyer's family. What else is in the news, Hannah?
Well, Richard E. Grant is joining Netflix's comedy Ladies First, starring Sacha Baron Cohen as a love rat who ends up in a parallel universe, even, dominated by women. I'm sure he's in heaven.
We're going to start on Sky Documentaries, Sky Showcase and Sky Box Sets and Now TV. This arrived on Saturday, the 30th of November. It's called Game of Throws, Inside Darts, and here's a clip.
The world is a place, yet you can have a night of the darts and forget everything. We are the people's game. Players that come from the same working class areas that I came from can achieve their dreams.
That dart's worth £400,000
and change their lives.
So we've had a lot of very good behind-the-scenes sports documentaries on streaming platforms, haven't we, Hannah? Mainly on Netflix. Things like Drive to Survive, F1, Tour de France, Unchained. So yes, they usually look back at sort of the previous season, if you like. So you might think, well, I know who won, so what's the point? But if you've watched any of them, they are great insight. You see lots of new stuff you'd never imagined you would see. This one, as the title suggests, a very good title, good punning title, Game of Throws. Well, it's about darts, of course. And darts fans will know that Luke Littler, a 16-year-old player, he made the headlines at last year's World Darts Championship at London's Alexandra Palace. And so this three-parter basically goes behind the scenes at that tournament. The World Championships, well, they get underway this month, don't they? And it's just an incredible atmosphere. If you haven't seen it on TV or been, it's sort of like a big fancy dress party, really. All these people go in incredible outfits and, you know, they're all drinking and just having a great time. It's an incredible atmosphere. We're meeting some interesting characters. So we're going to meet Luke the Nuke Littler, who now has become a household name because of last year's World Championships. Episode 1, you also see a Dutch player and his parents who've come over to take part in the competition. You'll see the game highlights from the games as they progress through the rounds. And we'll also be going kind of behind the scenes. We'll hear from people like Barry Hearn, who, of course, is quite a character from the world of sports promotion. If you like darts, you're going to love this. But even if you don't like darts, you might well get the bug after you watch this, because it's good stuff and they're great characters as well. And you're just going to get drawn into the amazing atmosphere of the world champs, and I'm sure you will want to tune into it on your TV box. Hannah, do you like the darts?
I don't know, it's something about darts that just, I don't watch it a lot, and I wouldn't necessarily put it in the diary to watch when there's a big event, but yet somehow it's always on our TV box in our house. And I don't know, there's something just really, the audience gets behind it, don't they, watching it? I don't know, there's something about it that's just quite warm and lovely, and we've all had a go, haven't we? Occasionally at throwing some darts, and I don't think you have to be completely into the sport to watch this. It's a bit like the kind of the music documentaries we talk about, or other sporting documentaries. It's kind of, it it sort of shows you behind the scenes, I suppose. It kind of shows you, what it's all about. And I think it's just that sort of sportsmanship, really. If you like sport generally, and if you like that, I suppose, understanding the sport a bit more, which I felt like I sort of came away knowing a bit more about it. I don't know. It just. It's hard, isn't it? It's so hard. The pressure on them to get that bullseye, to get those good scores. It's just unbelievable. I really enjoy it. Snooker's another one, isn't it? That you think, why? It's like watching paint dry, but it's not. It just gets you going, and it's the same with this. So I think this is something for everyone, actually, even if you don't like it. The sport, that is.
Good stuff. Well, the first of our Christmassy offerings now. Of course, Richard Curtis gave us famously the Christmassy rom-com Love Actually, which I think it's fair to say does divide opinion. Well, now he's giving us an animated Christmas film, which arrived on Netflix on Wednesday the 4th of December. It's called That Christmas, and here's a clip.
This is the tale of one of the most challenging nights of my long career.
Dance, you won't get all those sacks down the chimney in one go.
Oh! Christmas was knocking on Wellington's front door.
Come on out!
And here are our unfortunate heroes.
Bernadette, you're in charge.
Yes! 8 kid-free hours! Oh, hi, Danny. Hi, Sam.
So this is a feature-length animation about a group of children who, for various reasons, are left to fend for themselves one Christmas. Among the voices you're going to hear are Brian Cox from Succession as Santa, Rhys Darby from Flight of the Conchords, the lovely Alex McQueen, Fiona Shaw from Killing Eve. You might even hear a little bit of Dermot O'Leary, Catherine Parkinson, Bill Nighy. But you don't want to hear me talking about it because we're lucky enough to have, by popular demand, the return of our guest reviewer, Freya Fernando, who's going to tell us all about it.
Based on a set of children's books by Richard Curtis. It's very magical and it makes you feel very Christmassy. It's about a Christmas being ruined by a worst snowstorm in history. It's very, very funny and the characters are very realistic. The emotions are shown very clearly. I'm not a big fan of animation, but I definitely think that this was a very good animated film. Definitely in the part where they show Mrs. Trapper to be very lonely, and not having much comfort or friends around her. It's about family and friends coming together, and not just family and friends, but a whole community, the whole hometown coming together for Christmas. Because that's really what Christmas is about, is coming together and spending time with your family and friends and even people around you. It's showing that Christmas is not just about having presents, and it's about spending time with loved ones. I think that it's going to be a massive hit, definitely for its animations, because the animations are just incredible.
Well, thank you so much, Freya. Great job there. We're now going to move over to Prime Video for a one-off entertainment show which arrived on Tuesday the 3rd of December. It's called Jack in Time for Christmas. And here's a clip.
I Spy. I'm not playing that game with you. Never have I ever. Twister. No. Spin the bottle. Dude, have you taken something?
You know, when you're going to meet the family for Christmas.
This is like a fever dream.
Do you have any drugs? Something to just knock me out?
Jack Whitehall. Hannah, I think we're both fans, aren't we? And as you might have guessed from the title, this is all about Jack Whitehall loosely pretending to try to get home for Christmas from America, because it's, it's clearly just a conceit. And, you know, he alludes to that, you know, of course, it's all just, you know, it's made up. And he's enlisted the help of quite a few celebrities, including Michael Buble, who, he is Christmas, Rebel Wilson, Jimmy Fallon, the chat show host, Daisy May Cooper from This Country, comedian Tom Davis, and actor Dave Bautista from Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, so the conceit is that for whatever reason, he can't get a flight back to the UK from America. Whatever. You don't need to worry about that. It's a bit planes, trains and automobiles-ish. And I must admit, the first segment is him with Michael Buble. He goes round to Michael Buble's house. And the joke is that in reality, Michael Buble doesn't like Christmas. So I was like, well, this whole thing, he's getting his celebrity mates in. It's a weekly linked together series of kind of celeb guest stars. You know, it's a bit lazy. Throw in a bit of League of Their Own type stunts. For instance, he goes out on the ice at an ice hockey game, Jack. But he won me over because he is just a great comic actor. And I actually think he would be great in a remake of Planes, Trains and Automobiles in the John Candy role as the really annoying travelling companion, which is very much what he does in the sequence where he's on a private plane with Dave Bautista, and it's really funny. Daisy May Cooper is a black cab driver who's bringing him home from the airport in the UK, and he's recounting his tale to her. The funniest bit, which made me absolutely laugh out loud, was when he goes dog sled racing with Tom Davis, which you might have seen a little bit of in the trailer. That's highly amusing. And he also has a go at bobsledding and he's just very good at. He meets these real life bobsled team, and he's just really good at sort of bouncing off people and making them laugh, but not in a sort of, you know, a nasty way. He's just a great comic actor and an all-round good egg. So although I was ready to absolutely rip this to shreds and say how dreadful it was, I enjoyed it. What did you think, Hannah?
Well, as you say, we're both fans of Jack Whitehall, aren't we? So I know what you mean about it, 'cause it felt like a bit of a Christmas recipe for disaster. But, you know, this man has got some serious celebrity mates, hasn't he? I mean, can you imagine the contacts book? I think my contacts book is good. It's not as good as this, put it that way. I do not have Daisy May Cooper's number or Michael Bublé's. But as you say, Michael Bublé is Mr. Christmas. The idea that he might not like Christmas is all a bit ridiculous. But I don't know, Jack Whitehall has got something special, hasn't he? He is just very, very funny in a really kind of dry way. And even when I've seen him, I don't know if you've seen any interviews with him this week, where I think he did the One show yesterday or the day before, he's just funny because he doesn't seem like a lot of comedians. They just sort of say it how it is. And if it doesn't go down well, it doesn't go down well. But he's just completely fearless in his approach. And do you know what? This is just laugh out loud funny. As you say, what shouldn't be, absolutely is. And I kind of he does do things like this, and you sometimes worry that it might just be a bit of a, do you really need to do this? You know, is it just something that you feel like you've got to do to stay on TV? No, not at all. This is everything he touches really turns to gold, doesn't it? And he says it was a Christmas miracle getting this many stars involved, but frankly, it is that contacts book of his, and just proves quite how big and what a success story he is. So yeah, if this doesn't tickle you, nothing will.
Yeah, and I'm going to put it out there, Buble, good comic actor. I was surprised. He's very good.
I've watched him on a few things now. He's got quite a great personality, hasn't he?
Good. Well, we've saved, depending on your point of view, the best or worst till last, because we're going to finish with a new reality show that arrived on Discovery Plus on Monday the 2nd of December. It's called Meet the Rees-Moggs. Yes, it is. And here's a clip.
I can sort of see you. Yeah. It's slightly like Big Brother is watching you. I'm Jacob Rees-Mogg, and I've been involved in some political controversy. I'm afraid, and this is probably a sin, I quite enjoy winding people up.
I hope I don't get a cease and desist letter from Johnny Bowden. Could you please not wear my clothes? You awful Tory right-wing fox-hunting Brexiteer.
Well, where do I start? I mean, I've been thinking about this ever since I watched it, and I still haven't come up with the answer, really. So I'll just go straight in. This is exactly what it says on the tin. Who would have thought that the politician that was Jacob Rees-Mogg would invite cameras into his rather large abode, so that we could have a look around his very privileged life, full of Bentleys, no less, and wings of houses. Do you not have a wing? If you don't have a wing, are you even anyone? But he does like a Greg's baguette, so he's keeping it real sometimes. Okay, he loves a ham and cheese Greg's baguette. But it's fascinating, really. I'm not sure that you come away thinking any differently, or that he shows himself in any different light, because I think there is a fear around these things sometimes that, you know, you go onto a reality TV show and you can kind of sway public opinion, and, you know, the sort of, because, you know, let's make no bones about it, this man has got some views that a lot of people do not find attractive or like in any shape or form. And so, you know, sometimes when you see people going on TV, I must admit, you just think, oh, you're just trying to kind of make everybody see you in a different light and change the public perception. And I actually don't think he can, really, because he is just himself. He plays himself. I don't think there's anything more to this than that, really. Whereas with other celebrities, now celebrities, or that were politicians, perhaps there is more to them, but there isn't really in this. He just seems to be himself. He's a very posh chap with 6 children whose wife is an heiress, and you see a snapshot into their very unrelatable life, and that's, you know, and that's absolutely fine. But he stands by all his views. He's quite articulate in the way he talks and what he thinks. But again, as I say, for many of us, they're very unpalatable, those views. And so it's really hard, in my opinion, to kind of see past that. If you can see past that, you can see this life that is it's just a kind of very different, I'd imagine, to most of ours, unless you live in a somewhere like that, or in a wing of a house. And they talk about, it's the run up to the general election, so you know, that they're very open about all of that, and they're really open with their views and what they think about it. And obviously, when he was dropped as MP, you know, what he would do, he didn't even know what he was going to do. His wife didn't know what he was going to do. He's quite ridiculous in places. Again, it's sort of in that sort of way you'd always imagine him to be. He's got this big gong in his hallway which he bangs, and he says, "Oh yes, the children come running," or some words to that effect. But actually, he says it's completely ridiculous. They don't come at all. It's completely ineffective. I don't know. I think it's fascinating for a lot of people just seeing how another part of our world lives, I suppose. But it's an odd subject matter, I would say, for a reality series. When you think of, we do reality TV series, you know, Peter Andre and Katie Price, the Kardashians, you know, there have been so many, Sylvester Stallone, that, just to name a few, there are so many. Who would think we'll do a reality show with the Rees-Moggs, and I'm not sure it's going to be some ratings coup, but it's a really tricky one. If you dislike him, you might want to watch it because you dislike him, so it's kind of that want to feed off that. Or does he have any fans? Is he going to have any fans after this? I'm not so sure. I'm not sure that we're going to be seeing him in the jungle anytime soon. But I could well be wrong. It's as I say, I'm really struggling to articulate myself on this one because it is just exactly what you think. He is no different to what you imagine, really. And it's just this very eccentric way of life. And I suppose in some ways it's quite enthralling because of that, because it's just sort of a bit of a wow, okay, you know, that's how you sit there the whole time thinking, is this real? Does someone really live like this? So worth a watch, yes. Will you be talking about it over the dinner table for very long? No, probably not. It is what you expect. What are you thinking?
Yeah, one episode was enough for me, I think. He does deliberately cultivates this sort of eccentric persona, and he calls himself the honourable member for the 18th century. And when he was at university, he always used to wear a suit. You know, he's one of those people who's deliberately eccentric. And a couple of things really struck me. I mean, apart from the amazing wealth, is that his kids are looked after by the same nanny that looked after him, which is unusual. And also the whole family dress for dinner like the son's in black tie once a week. So I'm not sure how I feel about politicians going into other areas, just into TV. You know, we've had Matt Hancock when it's The Jungle. Ed Balls is a pretty regular fixture on TV now. I don't know if it's a great idea. I was kind of surprised that he was happy to have his kids on camera. I mean, considering, you know, safeguarding these days around kids being exposed to media scrutiny. So that's rather surprised me. I mean, what you see of Rees-Mogg, you see him in his constituency ahead of the election, you know, knocking on doors. And he seems very harmless. He looks a bit like a child, really, in adult's clothes. And he's very overly polite and formal, and just seems like a harmless eccentric. But as you say, he's got some dangerous views, in my opinion. And you know, he has been a prime mover in the Tory party. And remember years ago, he was on the Ali G show. He was interviewed by Ali G, and he was one of the few people who I felt kind of got the better of Ali G. So he is a smart cookie, and he is very aware of how he comes across. But they also include that footage of him like lounging all across the front bench, disgraceful behaviour in the Houses of Commons, just to annoy people. And he likes winding people up. And if you've ever seen him interviewed, he is pretty clever, and it's, you know, he always has the last word. Nothing seems to faze him. You know, he's just very good on camera. So I don't know. I think you're right. I don't think it's going to change anyone's mind either way. You either like Rees-Mogg and what he stands for, which is, you know, privilege, basically, and inherited wealth, and private schools and nannies and that kind of thing, or you don't. So, but yeah, I thought it was interesting. I mean, we have seen shows. There was a reality show about a very posh family living in a stately home, wasn't there, a while back? I can't remember what it was called. I mean, they weren't famous, but they were kind of after. And the dad was very kind of irascible. Do you remember? And the kids were running wild and like throwing the telly in a lake and stuff like this. So it's definitely worth a look, though, I think, just purely out of curiosity value. And let's get Jacob Rees-Mogg onto either I'm a Celebrity or Strictly Come Dancing. Well, Hannah, we've got to that point where we do a very quick roundup, because there's a lot of good stuff on this week that we haven't had time to preview. So we've talked about this one quite a lot. A new Paramount Plus thriller called The Agency, starring Michael Fassbender as a CIA agent. That was available from Saturday the 30th of November. Fatal Attraction, the TV series, you may have seen it on another streaming platform, but it's now available on U&W as a box set. Black Doves, we did trail that last week. We didn't get a chance to preview it, but it stars Keira Knightley Yes, and Ben Whishaw, a new thriller on Netflix, available from Thursday the 5th of December. Star Wars Skeleton Crew. Oh, yet another Star Wars spin-off on Disney Plus, featuring Jude Law. Check it out. On so-called normal TV, a very good film on Thursday the 5th of December called The Quiet Girl, which is Oscar-nominated Irish drama. And finally, two more actually. The Sticky is a new comedy drama on Prime Video, inspired by a true story about a Canadian maple syrup heist. And yes, if you've not seen Wonka at the cinema, then with Timothée Chalamet, you can watch it on Sky Premiere from Friday the 6th of December. Okay, that's out of the way, thank goodness. What the hell have you been binge watching, Hannah?
Well, I'm a celebrity, of course. I told you I'd be dull for a few weeks, and here I am still being dull. But it makes for good TV. And also, Ian, you've met my dogs now. Dogs behaving very badly. I could do with Graham Hall in here sometime at some point. So if you're listening, Graham, please do swing by Fernando Farm, because we could do with a little help.
I love Graham with his lovely tweed waistcoat and his cravats. He's great, isn't he? We like watching that. Well, I caught the latest 24 Hours in Police Custody, which is a reliably good true crime documentary following a case in Luton Police Station. So yeah, check that out. We've just got time to look ahead to next week's offerings. So what's on the agenda, Brenda?
Well, Elton John recalls the highs and the lows of his sparkling career in rockumentary Elton John, Never Too Late on Disney Plus, which will be interesting because, of course, this week he spoke about the fact that he's losing or lost his eyesight in an eye. So
That's right. And Patrick Gibson stars in a Dexter prequel, charting the serial killer's early years on Paramount Plus. So we look forward to those and much, much more. But in the meantime, listeners, keep watching.